Mike and Jeff, you say we're already starting to see some of the consequences of this wage hike. Tell me about that. Mike?
Well, I've already received emails from folks in my district and out of the district who are laying off employees. The ramp period that the Democrats came up with as a way to garner votes, I mean, ultimately what it did is it gave, as one constituent said, it's at least I can plan on moving. So again, I wanted to see the wages of folks at that entry level increased. We had proposed a lot of ideas. In fact, we may have even supported a certain amount of minimum wage increases, but the way they did it will lead to price inflation, and the people hurt most are going to be our seniors, retirees from the military, disabled folks, and of course you're not helping a worker who's going to get laid off.
Ginny, I want to give you a chance to talk about that as well, because you're hearing from these folks that they're already seeing consequences. Folks are being laid off. I'm sure that's something you thought through, discussed through before this was voted on. Tell me about that.
The legislature meets annually, and the advantage of doing this in the legislature is we own it. And if some of these fears actually start to become reality, we can deal with it. There are already people in the legislature, in my party, who want to take a serious look at things like a training wage, who want to deal with the work-study issue that Senator Cruz mentioned, that want to take a very close look at the real impacts of this, not the fear speech, but the real impacts of this. And because we own it in the legislature, which means the public owns it, we are free to fine-tune it every year if necessary. And with the slow implementation, that gives us a chance to adapt to circumstances as they arise.
I want to jump over to Jeff because you're ready to jump out of your seat. So I want to give you the opportunity before that happens. What's happening over there?
I've been in the legislature a long time, and even with good ideas, and I'm not saying this was good or bad, but even with good ideas, the one thing we should always be cognizant of is the unintended consequences. And Mike spoke to some of those that are happening now. And to say we can go back and fix it, no, you should fix it on the front end, quite honestly. And my favorite example of how this was orchestrated was Charles Starr, former state senator, one of the most respected people I've ever served with, signed up to testify on this bill. He was fourth on the sign-up list, never got called to testify. So this was orchestrated, and we knew going in that this was going to happen. And by the way, on the three-tier system, Josephine County and Douglas County, two timber counties, are in different categories. Explain to me how that makes any sense. It was bifurcated for some very interesting reasons. And quite honestly, I think from the perspective of county and city governments, this could turn out to be an unfunded mandate.